Good morning, class. I am Angela Pauline Lumpon, your teacher for today's session. And for today, we are going to analyze a passage entitled Summer Rain. So, are you ready? Let's start. First, we have here our objectives. At the end of the lesson, you are expected to first, read and analyze the passage. Second, identify the author's intentions for writing. Third, react to the passage. And fourth, write 2 to 4 paragraphs about summer. Okay, and now I am going to read to you the passage entitled Summer Rain, and all you have to do is to listen to me while I read and look into the screen so that you can read with me as well. Okay, so now I will start. The worst days of any summer are the rainy ones. We spend all year looking forward to nice weather and long, hot days. All of winter, with its dreary gray days and bitter cold, we dream of those endless days at the beach, laying on the sand and soaking in the bright and burning sun. And then summer comes and it rains. As a child, I would wake up to rainy summer days and come close to crying. It wasn't fair. We suffered through months of school and miserable weather for those scant 10 weeks of freedom and balmy weather. Any day that I could not spend at the beach or playing ball with my friends seemed like a punishment for something I didn't even do. On those rainy summer days, I had nothing fun to do and could only sit inside, staring out at the rain like a Dickensian orphan. I was an only child, so there was no one else to play with. My father worked from home, so I was not truly alone, but he could not actively play with me since he was technically at work. It was those days that I would resign myself to whatever was on television or any books that I could find lying around. I'd crawl through the day and pray each night that the rain would not be there the next day. As an adult, though, my opinion of summer rain has changed. When you have to work every day, summer is not as eagerly anticipated. Mostly, the days run together, bleeding into each other so that they no longer seem like separate entities and instead feel like continuations of the same long day. Everything seems monotonous and dull, and then ennui or listlessness kicks in. Such a mindset makes you cheer for anything new or different. I spend the winter dreaming of summer and the summer dreaming of winter. When summer comes, I complain about how hot it is, and then I look forward to the rain, because the rain brings with it a cold front, which offers a reprieve, admittedly one that is all too short, from the torture of 100 degrees and humid days. Rainy days are still the worst days of summer, but summer rain today means positively beautiful and considerably cooler weather tomorrow. Okay, so that ends summer rain. Now let's move on to our discussion and analysis to better understand the passage. Okay, so I'd like to start the discussion with a question. What was the narrator's intentions for writing? So after I read the story to you and after you listened to me, what do you think could be the possible reasons why the narrator wrote Summer Rain? Okay, so I have here 3 reasons why, and we'll go over with them one by one. Okay, so let's start. The narrator is trying to describe his or her feelings about rainy summer days. So how about you? How do you feel about those days? Of course, when we were young, right, we are eagerly excited about the summer. I mean, who doesn't love summer? Summer means a break from school and have all the time to play under the sun. And the narrator feels the same. That's why he or she even mentioned that he or she feels like close to crying whenever it rains. Okay, next, describe why he or she no longer looks forward to summertime the way he or she used to do as a child. Okay, so before that, I would just like to make an agreement with you guys to just because the gender of the narrator was not revealed in the story, in the passage, can we just all agree to call or to just think that he is a boy so that we won't be repeating the he or she a lot of times? I hope that's okay with you. Okay, so now let's proceed. So what could be the possible reason why the narrator said that he is no longer excited about summer? Of course, the prime reason to that is because the child has grown into an adult, and adulthood requires responsibilities, right? And suddenly playing under the sun is not a priority anymore. There are even adults who have more than just one job just to suffice their needs, right? So that's where the narrator is coming from as well. Okay. Third is describe that he spent the winter dreaming of summer and the summer dreaming of winter. So what does that mean? Of course, because the narrator is already an adult, so he gets to have a wider perspective about things and have realizations that rainy summer days are not really that awfully bad because it brings a cold front, which means cooler weather, and that is only possible because he has matured already, because he is again an adult. Okay, so next question. What kind of language did the passage use? After you read it, what do you think is the language used? Is it metaphorical? Is it rhetorical? Is it formal? Or is it ambiguous? So now, before we discuss the right answer, let's just go over these words first so that we can clear the questions in your mind of what these words could possibly mean. Okay. Okay, so first we have metaphorical. It uses a language that is figurative and not literal. Second, rhetorical. It is a language used to try to persuade someone or when you're trying to impress someone. Next, formal. It uses a language that is not conversational and it is completely free from figurative language. This language seems to be like very stiff and polite. And the next, ambiguous, a language that is unclear in meaning, or you have to take a second guess to know what does the sentence mean or what the words mean. Okay, so after knowing all of the meaning of those words, what do you think could be the right answer? Okay, so the right answer to that is, of course, A, metaphorical. Why? Because throughout the passage, the narrator used figurative language. I know that you have observed it because you're already very good to it. And some examples of it are here: soaking in the bright and burning sun, crawl through the day, and bleeding into each other. Okay, now literally speaking, you cannot soak in the sun. First, because it is not made of water, and the next is that you'll definitely die if you do so. And then we have here, next, crawl through the day. Now, this doesn't mean that the narrator literally crawled on the floor with his both hands and feet. Both hands and knees. What he is trying to say here is that the day went by slowly, that he could actually feel every minute and every second of the day. And then lastly, bleeding into each other. This is referring to the days. Literally speaking, days don't bleed and they don't even run into each other. This is just that his way of saying that every day seemed to be just the same, that you have a hard time separating yesterday and today because there is nothing new to look forward, like a cycle that always repeats itself. Okay, and now, next question. Compared to how he or she was a child, the narrator as an adult is, what do you think? Is he more realistic? Is he less excitable? Is he more idealistic? Or less calm? What do you think? What could be the right answer to that? Okay, so of course the right answer to that is B, less excitable. And then again, why? Why do you think so? It's because the first two paragraphs of the passage made it clear that the narrator looked forward to summer as a child, while the fourth paragraph states that all day seems monotonous and dull. We mentioned that earlier. And also states that summer is not as eagerly anticipated as an adult. So this basically means that when he have turned into an adult, his excitement towards summer gradually decreased. Okay, so now that we have known the right answer, let's just go over to the remaining choices and try to figure out why they are considered wrong. Okay, so let's start with more realistic. This is wrong because being more realistic would imply that he or she was once idealistic, or there's or in there, impractical. And then next, more idealistic. The passage never described the narrator as idealistic. As an adult, he or she is no more idealistic than he or she was as a child. And then D, less calm. The passage actually suggests that the narrator is calmer as an adult, not less calm. Okay, so we have tackled almost everything in our discussion and analysis. Now it's time for your activity. And for your activity, we only have 3 questions left because again, we have thoroughly discussed the passage already. So since it's just 3-item quiz, so I will only give you roughly around 10 minutes to answer, and then I will give you your assignment, and then we can call it a day. Okay, so 10 minutes have passed. Now it's time to give you your assignment. Please take note of this. In a one whole sheet of paper, write your fondest memory of summer and elaborate why that particular memory is very special. You can write it with 2 to 4 paragraphs and also prepare to share it to the class tomorrow for additional points. Okay, so that ends our lesson for today. I hope that you did learn something from me from our discussion. And that's it. Thank you, class, and class dismissed.